Hey everyone, Carolina Venom here. Today I'm taking a look at the Kyocera Hydro Edge. I just finished up on the review on the regular original Kyocera Hydro, and this is a big step up from that phone. It's a better phone, and so I'm going to go ahead and get started with the review, tell you about it, give you the specs, and what I think about it, do some tests and all that good stuff. So we'll go ahead and get started here. This phone does run Jelly Bean 4.1. It is water and dust resistant, IP57 certified. It does have a 4-inch display with 800 by 480 pixels at 233 ppi. It does have scratch resistant glass, and it does have a 5 megapixel camera on the rear with LED flash and records at 720p. It does have some pretty good features on the camera, like face detection, smile detection, blink detection, burst mode, HDR, panorama. It has some different color effects for pictures and all that stuff. And camcorder, it does have your time lapse, which is a really nice feature to have. And I do have a couple of videos I'm going to upload after this video right here of 2 time-lapse videos that I did do with this camera at 1.5 second intervals, and I record for 2.5 hours, and it plays back in 2.5 minutes. So it's pretty cool to have that feature. It does have a 1 gigahertz dual-core Qualcomm Snapdragon processor with 1 gigabyte of RAM, 4 gigs of internal storage, with 2 gigs available to user, and it will hold up to a 32 gigabyte micro SD card. It has a 1600 milliamp hour battery with up to 13 hours of talk time. It is only a 3G device, has Bluetooth 4.0, and it is waterproof and under 3.28 feet of water for up to 30 minutes. And the screen is WVGA quality. This phone does have the Smart Sonic receiver. Excuse me. Smart Sonic receiver, which of course no need for a speaker. It just has vibes in the phone, and it goes to your eardrum somehow, and you have your sound. So it's pretty neat to have. Not the best call quality I've ever seen on a phone, but it is nice, and it's not that bad. Kind of teeny, kind of hollow, but it does sound pretty clear. No front-facing camera, which is kind of a disappointment, but it does have a notification light on the front. On the bottom, have your back, home, and recents button, and your menu button here. On the side, you have your dedicated camera key, which is a plus. On top, you have your power button, 3.5mm headset jack, your volume rocker. On the back, you have your camera, speaker, and your flash. Here is your battery door. It does lock and unlock, and it does have a seal around it to make it waterproof, where water can't get into here. And the SD card slot is under here as well. And your 3.5mm headset jack. I may have mentioned that. If I didn't, I did again. What makes me kind of worried about the deal with waterproof, water resistant, is the fact that there's nothing covering the ports for the charging or the headset jack. Now that kind of has me a little bit worried about the waterproof deal, because most phones you see that are really waterproof and all that, every port is sealed off where they can't no water get into it, and I don't think water getting into the charging port is a good idea. But I'm not soaking mine just to find out. So there we go. Phone is pretty nice. Screen does look pretty decent. Phone is pretty smooth. Not much lag in it. I do got a few downloads on it and everything, and it's relatively a smooth phone, and really has no issues whatsoever. That does have a little bit of lag, and it has had a couple of restarts on its own, but nothing really major. It happens every once in a blue moon, and it's nothing really to be concerned about unless it does it all the time. Then it'll get annoying. But really, honestly, there's not much lag in a phone like this. It's pretty nice, pretty smooth. I'm going to go ahead and do a benchmark test on it. I done one earlier, and it came in at 3,812. But we're going to go in here and do another one. So I'm going to go in here and force stop that app. Yes, we'll go ahead and force stop it. Now we'll go in here and we'll check it again. Let it do its thing. Like I said, call quality is decent. It does sound kind of hollow, kind of teeny, or tiny, but it does sound okay. I personally don't care much about the call quality, but you know, because to me it's kind of a higher pitched sound. But that's just my own opinion. It could be my ears; they are sensitive, so you know. I have heard a lot worse call quality, that's for sure. Screen does look pretty good on this phone, though. It does not look bad at all. Like I said, it is a major step up from the Kyocera Hydro, but it's still a low-end phone. It's nothing major. It's not even mid-range. It's just a basic low-end phone, but it is nice, and it does, for 80 bucks, what this phone costs retail, it's not a bad phone, and you can actually buy them on eBay for less than that, like I did. So we'll see if the test has changed any. A little bit. 3811. So it has changed just a little bit, not much, but you know, test of 3,811 is not bad. Not for a dual core 1 GHz processor. It does, like I said, it does run fairly smooth. Internet does work fine. The only issue that I've really found with this phone is the messaging. Is that there's times that it can't keep up with. If you're a fast typer, it wants to hang sometimes. The keyboard itself is nice, but the fact that it wants to hang up a little bit and it's not very fast, and you will end up having to backspace a lot to get your words right. It's kind of aggravating, especially whenever on my ZTE I can type as fast as I want to with no problems. And then I go to this phone right here, and I gotta slow it down some because it can't keep up. But other than that, really the only issue really that I have with the phone is the fact of the messaging and the no front-facing camera. Basically, that's all I want to say about the phone. Not really going to say much else about it other than it is a good phone. It is reliable. It is a Kyocera. I do think the Kyocera is a pretty good name. I don't have any issues with it whatsoever, other than a few restarts here and there. But like I said, that's very, very, you know, it don't happen very often. And it is a good phone. I do recommend it. And also I wanted to say that I've had people before ask me why I do reviews on these low-end phones. Well, it's because, you know, everybody really don't want these new high-end, top-of-the-line phones. I mean, yes, they're nice, like the Galaxy S5, HTC One M8, the iPhone 5S, the Note 3, you know, all these new phones that are out. You know, they are nice phones, but I mean, they are all over the internet, and they are all over YouTube, and I mean, you can't go, I mean, everywhere you see is the Galaxy S5, you know, up to reviews and all this stuff. And you know, I like doing these lower end, low to mid range reviews, mainly because there are still people who wants a phone like this right here that is, it'll work decent, you know, got good reception, good call quality. It is Android. It will work, and does work pretty well. And you know, a lot of times, you know, with these new phones, these big 5-6 inch display phones, honestly, personally, I don't care much for them. I mean, to each his own, I reckon. But personally, I will soon stay within the 4.5 at least the lowest I would go will be a 4-inch. Now I do have like this 3.5-inch display on the LG Optima Zone 2, but as far as everyday usage, 4-inch is about the lowest I want to go. I like 4.5-inch screens and 4.7-inch screens, maybe even a 5-inch screen, depending on the phone. But these 5.5, 6-inch screens, I think that's just too much. But that's just me. That's just my own personal opinion. But what I was getting to was, while them are really nice phones, if you want a Galaxy S5 with with Virgin Mobile or Boost Mobile, you're going to pay $5.99 for the phone. And really, who has that kind of money to dish out for a cell phone that probably won't last but about a year with it working correctly? Because a lot of them phones like that now that are getting so big and so many features into a little bitty device, you can't help but to have problems. And if you drop it, then you're in trouble. So, personally, like this Boost Warp 4G here that I have with Boost Mobile, 4G LTE device for $150. To me it's perfect. And if it messes up, yeah, it's a lot of money, but it's not as bad as buying a phone for $600 and going out. But that's beside the point. What I'm saying is, the reason why I do these lower end devices is because people still like them. People still want them seen reviewed. And if you want to find an S5 review, you have no problem finding them on YouTube or anywhere else, because that's about all you see on the internet is S5s or M8s or something like that. So, and I'm not knocking them phones one bit, because they are good phones. I wouldn't mind having one myself of each of them, but I'll probably never own one, because for one thing, I don't like contracts, and that'd be the only way I'd be able to afford one. But with that being said, I do the small phone, low end, mid range phones reviews because people still like to buy these little phones that don't cost an arm and a leg, that do work and work well. Kyocera is a good name. I do recommend the name brand. Like I said, they have really good reception, good call quality, battery life is decent, and really honestly, I think it works fine for what it is. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut it off right here. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. Subscribe to my channel. I sure would appreciate it. Y'all have a good one, and we'll talk to you later.